Okay. So I was told to hold this like a rock star. So I may, self-help myself. You don't want that actually. So as you're saying, I'm Anna Delano. I am a Lubbock local. I've been with Reliant just a few months. Actually more than that now. It'll be a year in June. So that's kind of approaching quickly, but I'm like all of you. I'm going to be experiencing electricity deregulation for the very first time. So it's better to explain it to you than someone who gets it. So I'll cover the deregulation part, kind of how it works, and then often we'll talk more about what it might be like to work with a retail electricity provider or a rep. You'll hear that quite often. But we'll jump right in. Maybe. Okay, so before deregulation, this is what we have right now. And I love my infographics because I think they do a really, really good job of explaining it. And I'm not sure, which one is it? Okay, sorry, I have a new toy. Okay, so right now, you'll see we have probably, I'm dumbing this down a little bit because it helps me understand it. It's a little more complicated than just this, but for our intents and purposes for today, I think it does a great job. So you'll see 4 icons up top. We have our power plants, our local utility, our electricity provider, and our customer. What I want to draw your attention to are the 2 icons in the middle. So our local utility, which is LP&L, and our electricity provider, which is also LP&L. And that's really our current state right now. We don't have a choice. We buy our electricity, and our electricity is serviced and provided by our local utility, which is Lubbock Power and Light. And that's what a regulated market looks like. No choice. You basically pay whatever rate you are given. We really don't have plans, things like that. You all know, you get your bill every month. How many of you still call it your LP&L bill? I did not know. It's not my LP&L bill, so I took this job. It is the City of Lubbock Utilities bill, and one of the line items is your LP&L usage. So if you call it your LP&L bill, now you know. So this is a great, for those of you who really like to read the definitions and understand it, I think this is a great definition for you. It really just talks about how there isn't choice, everything is handled by LP&L, the one utility. Now, after deregulation, again, drawing your attention to the 2 icons in the middle, you'll notice a change. And of course, since I'm presenting to you today, I put our little logo right there. That can be whoever you want it to be. What I want you to realize is what doesn't change is who will manage the poles and wires. The actual electricity as it is delivered to your outlet, that process will not change. What will change is who you buy it from, who sets your rate, who provides customer service, who sets your plan. Those things will change for you, but what will not change is LP&L. I know that the question I often get is, so when are you guys taking over and what happens to LP&L? Well, we're going to be one of many, many providers. You will have plenty to choose from, but LP&L will still be the person you call when you have problems with poles or lines. You have an outage. You can call us and we'll probably know what's going on and we can update you. We're going to have great customer service for you. Again, for those of you who want that definition to really understand it, it talks about how you move from having no choice to having choice from providers, but also something really cool like plans. This is a great infographic. Again, it really breaks down for you the benefits and advantages of what happens once we are deregulated. Competitive pricing. Who's excited about having some options when it comes to pricing? Absolutely. Some of the other things that I really get excited about, this is the nerd side of me speaking, I'm really excited about the innovative technology headed our way. In fact, if you have like a Nest or any Google products, Reliant already interfaces with a lot of them, so those are some of the things you can look forward to when you're working with retailers. What kind of technology are you going to get? Examples of offerings headed your way, things that you can expect to see. We talked about plans. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I think I kind of have to slowly get your feet wet when we start talking about plans. I think people get overwhelmed. But the pricing we've talked about. Something else you can start looking for is the customer service aspect. 24-hour customer service. There are only like 2 or 3, a handful of companies that do offer that. So that's important to you. Start looking for that. Also, we talked about innovative energy products, and then also just to reiterate what LP&L is doing in terms of poles and wires, that will not change. I also like to show you which part is deregulating, because people will ask me, well, I have spec, or I have, if you're north of town, I have SPS. Will I be able to choose my provider? If you have an LP&L meter, you will be able to choose. Everybody else, you're staying where you are. You have not joined the ERCOT grid, therefore you're going to, if you have spec, South Plains Electric Co-op, you're going to stay with them. If you have SPS or Excel, you're going to stay with them. The green areas that you see, that is representative of spec. The light pink areas, that is SPS or Excel. The gray area is going to be LP&L or deregulated. And then the pink, the hot pink areas, those are the areas I can choose. They actually do have the option to go with spec or go with a deregulated meter. But that's kind of rare. You're not going to see a whole lot of that. Here's a timeline for you. The cool thing about this is August 2nd is when it all starts. You can see a bit of the history of how we got here. But October 1st is when you should start on your new plan. And I'm going to delve into that. This really talks about what now. You understand deregulation, hopefully. I've made it simple for you to grasp. But what do you do now? What do you do until August 2nd? August 2nd is the deregulation date. Sorry, the pre-sale date. We won't deregulate until October 1st, but pre-sale is where you choose your provider and you choose your plan. The city of Lubbock chose 3 default providers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So if one isn't chosen for you, you will have someone that will be able to service your meters. We'll also give you updates on these 2 websites, and then we'll also talk about how to understand your current usage. Okay, so default providers. There's 3 of us. Reliant is one. What that simply means is at the end of pre-sale, which should be at the end of August, mid-September, that date might shift a little bit. There'll be a dark period so that all of that can be updated in ERCOT, and then October 1st is when your new plan will flow with your new provider. The default provider, if you haven't chosen, if it's overwhelming and you don't know who to choose, the city of Lubbock has already vetted these companies. They took several applications, and they picked the top 3 they thought would take care of you and do a great job. They're reliable. They have the ability to service your meter and to give you great plans. Oh, Polar. So this is just kind of getting down the weeds, the provider of last resort. Say something happens to your electricity provider. You see a rate, it's great, you choose it, sounds like it's going to save you a lot of money. Something happens to that company, they're no longer in business overnight, they're gone. If that happens, Reliant will be your provider the next morning. You won't lose any time. ERCOT will take care of that. Your meter will now become a Reliant meter. You don't have to stay there. You can change it, but you won't lose electricity. So the city has taken care of those things for you, that you don't have to worry about that. These are programs in place so that when the lights would normally go out, they don't have to. All right, so LP&L is a great website to follow for updates. They are being very transparent. Everything we get is from them. So absolutely follow their website. They're going to, any changes to the update, so maybe it's not August 2nd. Maybe they have to do something happened along the way, and August 2nd is no longer the pre-sale date. If you're following their website, absolutely, it will be posted there. They're pretty good about doing that in real time. So you can visit their website, you can follow them on social, or if you don't want to go to the website and you just want to receive an email, you can go to our website. In fact, if you see the code right there, it's on your table stand. You can just hold your phone over the QR code. It'll take you to our page, and you can sign up for updates. We are not using this as a way to market to you. We were very clear in what we wanted to do with our customer journey. We wanted to first educate everybody, and so this link will take you to sign up for information only. So we're just going to send you updates. This is not going to be something where we market to you. We'll be sending you education pieces. We'll be updating you on the LP&L information that they're sharing with us. Just a way for you to have the information in real time in case you haven't had the opportunity to go to the LP&L website. Something to start looking at now. We talked about plans. This is, if you can think about the first time cell phones rolled out, I may be dating myself, but we had things like rollover minutes and free nights after like 9 o'clock and things like that. You're going to see a lot of those things with retail providers. You're going to see plans. What will help you is to know how much energy you use and when you use it. So start paying attention to how active you are on the weekends in terms of using electricity, things like that. There are so many plans out there, and they are all designed to help you maximize your dollar in terms of when you use electricity. And that's the best thing I can say right now. If you start looking at your usage, you can actually pull up your last 12 months on the LP&L website. You can look at that. That was the first thing that I did. And it's really fun to see kind of when you're using your electricity. And that will all help you when you start to choose plans and providers. Okay, that is it for the deregulation portion and what you can do for now. If you have any questions, we'll at the end. I'm going to hand this over to Bob.
Thank you so much. My name is Austin Ergenbright. I am with our Builder Multifamily channel. So we have a true designated channel for multifamily in our home builders. I mean, that's one big thing that I want to make sure that everyone takes away from this is that we have designated channels for specific industries. We have a realtor channel. We have our C&I for our larger commercial and industrial customers. We have our small business. We have our builder multifamily. That's one thing that every business is unique. We all know multifamily and home builders is a very unique space, and it's really unique in the retail electric side on our end. So that's one thing that I want to make sure everyone is aware that everything that I'm about to talk about is designed to make your lives easier. It's designed to make the managers, the leasing staff, everyone from an electricity standpoint to make it as super easy as possible on your team, because you all have your hands full with the residents and other things. So again, we only deal with builders and multifamily communities. The best way to kind of break it down is by the types of agreements. So you might be familiar with the CSA. All of these that I'm about to talk about are a fixed rate. So this is a contract that you're entering in with us. And starting with our marketing. So marketing agreement is a great way for the property to earn ancillary income. The marketing is in place to help your residents sign up for electricity. So every resident that would sign up with Reliant, we have several different brands, not just Reliant, we have Green Mountain, Zero, and some others in our marketing program, but you would get paid off of that specific enrollment. That goes back to the ownership. And again, it's a great way to, number one, help your residents, because now I'll talk a little bit later in it, but where they go to sign up, all of our plans are designed for apartment communities. And we're not signing them up on a 3,000 home type plan. It is designed specifically for apartment units. And then same with our home builders. And then next is going to be our continuous service agreement. So this is for your vacant unit. So this is in place with ERCOT, and to kind of get specific with it, we are basically going in and checking a box for every meter that is tied to that community, letting ERCOT know that, hey, this meter belongs to Reliant. There's a CSA in place, so when a move out occurs, it would roll back into the property plan. Again, to make it super easy, make it convenient for the on-site staff to not have to worry about electricity when they're trying to get the unit ready for the next day. There is a non-CSA component to that. So the CSA is the automatic product for that. And non-CSA is where someone would actually have to physically start service on that unit. Some communities like to manually do that, and so that is where that comes into play as far as an agreement standpoint. So you have your two CSA and non-CSA components of that. And then lastly, you have your common area. So this is going to be the commercial side of it. This is going to be your office, your gym, all of the commercial meters that are tied to that specific property. We break it down by commercial versus residential because it's the type of meter that is labeled in a different product. We know that on the commercial side, you're going to use more usage, so we price accordingly. And on the CSA and non-CSA, there's very little. Hopefully, occupancy is up. You aren't going to have a whole bunch of vacant units in your name. So it should be, from a bill perspective, a lot less usage. So we price them out separately that way. And that's one of the easiest way. And I say that because not everyone does that in breaking it down. So just knowing that from a multifamily community standpoint, that you have 3 types of agreements that you want to ask for whenever a rep is approaching you. That you want to talk about marketing, your CSAs. And again, that's where our team, myself and Katie, that's where we want to again partner with your community. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that you have a self-service tool whenever you're needing to start and stop service. Because there are times, and we'll talk about a little bit later too, where you would have to start and stop service. So we have an online portal for the on-site team to use to self-manage all of their vacant units. So it is called Reliant Simple Source. It's as simple as logging into Reliant.com. We provide them a username and login, and they're able to go in and start and stop service, as well as look at billing and some additional reporting that the on-site team can utilize. And this is kind of what it looks like from once you log in. And then again, start and stop service. So they are able to start and stop service on units directly through the portal. You don't have to go through the call center. You don't have to talk with anyone. Again, it's a self-service tool to make it as easy as possible for the on-site team. Again, from a billing perspective, if you want to go back and pull your past bills or pull your most recent bill, we know USPS isn't the greatest. So again, self-service tool that you can take a look at your bill. Again, you're able to look at previous bills. And then we also have a vacant unit monitor. So again, once you get access to this, you can go in based off of your units, whether it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. You're able to put a threshold, whether it's 30 kilowatts, 20 kilowatts on that size. You can set that threshold to where it would alert you the next day if a unit, again, maintenance comes in, we're getting it ready, it's hot here, you have the AC cranked down and forget it. You're no longer having to wait a month to get that bill for that specific unit. And $200 bill, now next day you get a notice that, hey, unit 101 just reached that threshold. You can go in, AC is set to $60. So again, it gives you that opportunity to go in and stop it right there versus waiting the whole billing cycle before that happens. And then for reports, you're able to go in and from a vacancy standpoint, how long has unit 101 been in the property's name? How long has it not? The last time it was in the property's name. So again, we want to give you that self-service feature to go in for those specific reports. And then from a roll report, you can see when unit 101 is rolling into a property's name or rolling in front of the property's name. And then talking specifically around the building. If you have 150 units at your community and 20 of them are vacant, you don't want to be receiving 20 individual bills. So that's where, again, when we go in to flag all of those meters to set up that CSA, we're going in our system and applying them to what we call a collective bill. You're going to have one account number at the collective level, and anytime those meters bill in the property's name, you're going to receive it under one bill. You're not going to receive it for however many vacant units you have at that specific time. You're going to get one bill. You don't have to worry about, again, influx of Reliant information. And then going into our marketing partnership is a big one for us because, again, we want to help your residents. We provide all of the tools, the flyers, everything for the on-site team to guide those residents to so that they can sign up with one of our brands with NRG Reliant. And again, the other great thing about that is it's a great way to earn that annual income for the ownership. And this is Rent Ready, so that's kind of our branding from a resident standpoint, looking at it from their eyes. They're able to go to one of our websites where we have a preferred plan for your residents, and they can take advantage of signing up, before 5, and then they can get it 10 days, and then do it all on the app. So we have a Reliant app. They're able to do everything for their Reliant account, all done through the app. Again, the big thing I want to make sure everyone understands is that we have these different products for your residents, for you guys to take advantage of. And that's not something you're going to get with every rep. And then if they have roommates, they can split the bill right in that app. And again, and I kind of mentioned it, we are partnering up with Google. We have a lot of that integration with them where they can talk to their Google Hub and ask them, hey, what's my projected Reliant bill going to be this month? So we have that integration with some of those additional partners with us. That's really it from the building multifamily team. But again, just wanted to say again that we have these designated channels. Myself, Katie, and the team, we only deal with home builders and multifamily. And again, multifamily is a very unique industry. It's a lot of fun. And again, it's very unique from a retail electric standpoint. And we've been doing it since the introduction of the dereg between Houston and Dallas. So we have a lot of experience in it. We've seen a lot of things. We're super excited to be here in Lubbock and looking forward to servicing that. Yeah, right now we'll do door prize and then we can answer some questions.
What we're all getting. Okay, so you're going to get 4 baseball tickets. You're going to get our fun mascot, Hugo. There's a power bank in here, and then you're going to get a Google Nest Hello Ring doorbell. It's not a ring, but it works with your smartphones. Yeah, and it works with Nest and Google and everything. This is a real winner chicken dinner right here. All right, I'm going to draw and see what we get.
Oh, Susan Reed from Anatole at Cityview.
Yeah.
So before we do another one, we wanted to open up for questions. If we have any questions on either the dereg side or for Austin or Katie on like some of the services that you might find themselves.
For that CSA, for multifamily, and small ROIs, we've got like small owners, or a couple of duplexes, not multifamily, but I'd like that same feature there. If they moved out or let it get through law, I would be notified.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have essentially everything that I just talked about from a multifamily perspective, but we do single family rentals as well. Now, there is kind of looking at it from a unit perspective. We look at it as how many units are tied to that. There are some additional products and services that we have, but anything from like around a 50 unit perspective, that's where we come through our channel. We do have a secondary channel that offers a little less from the portal, but they're still set up on a CSA, and they still have the portal function to start and stop service on their unit.
complex question. Do you have any kind of examples you can walk us through? You know, obviously, if you're selecting a certain plan, I think I might use more energy at this time of day versus another. Do you have any kind of, examples you can walk us through of what that looks like practice to the customer?
From a resident standpoint or the actual community itself?
Both. More, like in a single family house versus in an apartment. What does that savings really look like given the right plan?
Really, so from a community standpoint, that's where we go off of how many units are at that specific community. We're going to average, kind of we can base it, we update it on an average vacancy standpoint. And we know that, the name of the game is to get that unit rented. It's not going to use a whole bunch of usage. We use a kind of a estimate as far as vacancy, average usage in that specific unit, and then how many units are actually there. Then that's what we price it for based on the market. And that's from a CSA, non-CSA rate perspective. And then from a resident standpoint, I think that's where we have these multiple plans that again, if they're gone throughout the week, maybe they travel, maybe they're at school, whatever the case may be, and they're home on the weekends to do their laundry, to do all of their normal stuff on the weekends, and then a free weekend plan would work out for them specifically. And that's kind of what Anna was saying. Start looking at your usage, see how when you use it during peak time. Because again, we have these multiple plans from a resident perspective of what works best with them. There's other plans out there, a full-side plan, that they might advertise a specific rate. But if you look at the EFL and dig into the specifics of that plan, it's only during, it's in a threshold between say 500 to 800 kilowatts for that month, and then you get that advertised plan. So that's one thing that we do not do as far as Reliant, because again, it's kind of tricking that resident, tricking that customer into signing up for that specific rate when that's not the case. And that's where you need to know specifically your usage if you were to sign up on a plan like that.
Can you define EFL?
EFL is electricity tax label. So any plan that you sign up with from a residential standpoint, you're going to get what we call an EFL, electricity tax label. And that's going to give the breakdown based off of 500, 1,000, and 2,000 kilowatts. And that gives you kind of the all-in price. So you're going to have your energy rate, which again is done through your rep, through Reliant. And then you're going to have your TDSP charges. You're going to have your LP&L charges. And so for the EFL, it's great for the consumer because it bundles it all in and gives you an estimate with both charges included. And so that you can, over this month, I would pay this much. So when you're going in to sign up for a plan, it gives the customer the ability to use an estimation on there. But again, the biggest thing is knowing how much that you use in the home.
You choose a plan, obviously during the school year, for work with what in home in the summer, obviously increases the usage. So what happens to the plan if you're not a policy, like there's a reason to small, and suddenly you don't know during the summer.
So it would just depend on when the expiration of that plan would be. Your plan would still be the same. And it just, again, fixed. This is a fixed rate. So, as long as you're under contract, you're going to get that fixed rate. Again, now there's plan specifics for whether it's free weekend and whatever that is, but that would all stay the same regardless of, whatever is occurring in
And that work out. So remember we talked about that analogy. So we're not used to contract. We'll be incentive for you to maybe claim with your contract to lock in your rate. So think about those things as well. If you have a really good point, if that's you and you know that you're going to change in 6 months, maybe sign a 6-month plan. Or maybe you like the rate so much you don't really care, it's going to be great, so you're going to take 1 month plan. So those are great questions that tell me you're thinking you will be. I actually have a question probably on both sides of the residential within the software. If we're with Reliant and resident A goes
I mean, do they really know that, like, is the system going to tell us that they have their electricity with somebody else other than the client? I mean, roll out and roll in.
Right, so you would be able to know when a unit is not in the property's name. So you would not know who that is because it's customer protection, but you would know that unit 101 is occupied and is not in the property's name. So they have service level. You would be able to quickly see that on the portal when you go in and you know, everything in your stop service is in the property's name. So from a quick glance standpoint, if you didn't want to use one report, just quickly go into a stop service tab on the portal, you can quickly see all of these units are in the property's name at that point in time. And if you, you know, again, if you gave the resident 101 that was in the stop service, you get multiple times, hey, you need to get service on your name. You have 3 days, you can go in and request a stop service on. So again, force them to get service on. So to answer your question, yes, you do have that visibility. You just wouldn't know what provider it is.
Okay, and I guess this is more not necessarily a Lubbock question, but other markets where you're really, I mean, how do you, I mean, do other markets that require residents pay to bring their account number from electric company fee to verify that they have service?
That's more done at a management property level. That depends on what your requirement is to determine that. From my experience, a lot of them will say, we need your account number and then put it somewhere in their files. But again, that's done more so.
Typically, I mean, on our property, I mean, we set it up for them because
Right.
we know when people don't do it. So we know that it gets done, we have confirmation of it, but obviously we know that employees.
Right.
Obviously, we should call for them if they didn't, but I just didn't know how that ability was there as well too.
Well, and again, that's why we have that portal, that self-service tool for you guys to see. You can quickly audit and see what is currently in your name. Because, and again, from a move-out perspective too, there's times where residents are moving, they got a lot on their mind, and forget to let their provider know that they're moving. That's the other thing, and I'll talk about from a CSA perspective, is what happens when a resident doesn't pay and they get disconnected. Is service going to roll back into the property's name? And the answer to that is no. To get real nerdy on it, there are different types of move out that go to the market. That would be considered a disconnect for non-payment. So during that situation, the CSA would not pick it up. But on any other move out, transfer of service, the system will pick that up for that specific unit. So if a resident gets disconnected, is not rolled back into the property's name. And again, the portal, you're able to see all of that. And then also kind of talking about that, there are situations where, going back to the resident, if you're going to move out, it would get disconnected, and depending upon that, then you can go in and start service on that specific unit. So you have that capability, and then you don't have to go through a call center. Absolutely.
I just want to confirm, if they're a Reliant, if they chose to do a Reliant, we would want to pull up people that we're not using.
You cannot see that. If they are a Reliant customer, then you wouldn't have that visibility. We'll go over here.
Okay, I got it.
You probably can't answer it, but I'm just curious, for all the people who set up our LP&L, they all ask for deposits. Is that going to transfer to you guys on the deposits, or do we have that deposit and credit checks?
So it depends on the credit check. So on a CSA, when we're pricing it, we do not require, we'll switch it out. We do not require from a deposit perspective on the CSA. And again, that's on the commercial, on the property. Now a resident, again, they'll go through a credit check, and then we have our additional deposit alternatives to help them get set up.
I know a lot of people had to put one in for LP now, so I'm curious.
You should get it back if you haven't already. So like a lot of you, if you was LPL for a long time, they probably credited it back to you and maybe you didn't notice it. For the rest of you, yes, a lot of the companies will ask for a deposit, but you can also get a letter of good credit from LPL, and so like Reliant will take that into consideration. So there are things you can do. Well, maybe if you're in good standing, your credit's great, you probably will not need to, pay an actual deposit. In which LPL will provide all of its customers that are in good standing. They're actually working on that. And that's exactly what I'm going to say.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And what I'll do is I'll send it to Dan and
Yeah.
Dan can share with all of you. And if you want to, yes, this is again, if you are, I don't want to contract, you want to a higher rate, so that allows you to cut out one of the things you don't do is you're giving default provider, there's a rule that what we do is strictly with opposition to Reliant. So when you look at the goal known as Reliant, if you wanted to kind of have 3 days out, to be on a competitive market. So we can value we can type out for 30 days if you don't like it, you can do it. So we're going to plan that you can do it. And what we can do is 6 months. And then you can do it. So they probably so if you do that residence, if you are concerned, and this is behavior psychology, so this is the best way. They want something to do, right? They want to do this in the field. There's something you're going to go ahead and on that contract. So you probably won't see a lot of that. They're not thinking, oh, I want to go to the office. I'm not going to do this. So I would say, well, so things are not going to be have to go to and it's still in terms of the so I don't think you'll see a lot of that.
And one thing back to, can we see the slides in the PowerPoint? So we have, and you may have received an email about this, LAA has created a new community hub. And so everything right now is being recorded on the community hub, being streamed live actually right now, being recorded. So we'll have the PowerPoints and this presentation on our community hub. I'll send the email back out to you to remind you that we have a community hub. It's called Trade Wing, is what you're going to see of it. But anyway, but we'll send you that reminder out, and that way you can look online and see and review the site and review the school.
Ma'am.
What we got for another prize also? Let me go.
Sounds good.
Miranda, is it with a Y, Jarvis, or is it Jarvis, sorry. What?
Got a question. Okay.
So in the reg market, every resident would have that choice. There is, so are you talking like basically keeping service on in the CSA with a resident in there and basically having an all bills paid. So that's tricky, and that's from a legislative standpoint. It can get real dicey real quick because we are governed by the PUC, and in a deregulation market, every resident has that right. So if service is on and or the ownership is keeping service on in their name, and then charging the resident for that, it again real slippery slope, and would advise not to. Because if they're making money off of that, technically they're a rep, and then again, a bunch of violations that come with that. Perfectly said. Well, that's where the marketing agreement would come into play, right? That's where that answering income for that ownership comes into play. So like you were saying, that they sign up with Reliant from a common area CSA, and they sign the marketing, and then they would receive that. Again, exactly. Hey, we have Reliant, do a great job. Here's all the information to sign up. And again, that resident has the option to go with us, or they can go somewhere else. But again, that's where that marketing piece will come into play. Yes, ma'am. You can go into the portal and see that. They do not have to be with Reliant. And again, we're in a deregulated market. They can go with whoever they want to go with.
I understand that. But saying, even if there's one of the other ones y'all mentioned, like they move out.
You would see it, yeah. You would see it in the portal that it is no longer in your name. It is in the Start Service tab, so you would know that hey, Unit 101 got service on in their name.
You're not gonna get an email.
Okay, that's what I mean. Like when they move out, turn it off. Will I be notified?
So it's either gonna roll in, roll out. report.
You would be able to pull it from the report, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming that if the resident signs a 24-month contract, and they have like a 1-year lease, and there's only 3 months left to hold it in the resident moves, the account moves with them, you have no account set up.
They would transfer their service, so it goes with them. And then if the property has a CSA, the CSA would pick it up, because again, that's a specific type of a transaction in ERCOT to notify the CSA to pick it up.
We have CSA right now, those transfer to, so we have to call and send them.
Yes, sir. And that's the other thing from a contract perspective. We are purchasing, we are hedging that load for that CSA, which gives you that fixed rate. So, we have to do our part in hedging and going out and purchasing according to a 12, 24, 36, whatever term that plan is across the common area CSA portions of those agreements. Yeah. Kick them out. Kick them out. That jokingly. But because again, obviously that happens in the deregulated market at the time. But again, we have our on-site team. That's the other part of our team. Once you do sign up with us, you have a designated on-site rep. If you need more flyers, if you have questions, whatever the case may be, you have a designated point of contact to help you be successful in our marketing partnership. the name of the game is, we want you guys to earn as much ancillary income. We want to, capture as many enrollments. We want to make sure that your residents are taken care of from the electricity standpoint. Because again, I've been with Reliant almost 9 years. This is my second, but I wouldn't count the first deregulated time that this has occurred. So there's a lot of things that, I'm sure you guys have already had a bunch of people come and knock in. But I think that's the biggest thing, talking about what we have is, what do you have from a common area perspective? What do you have from a CSA perspective? What do you have from a marketing perspective? Because not every rep has that. They kind of will put you on a commercial plan, and that's not the best case because, again, multifamily is so unique in a retail electric market because you have that constant move in, move out transaction. So you've got to make sure that the questions that you're asking the right questions. And then from the resident standpoint, you're going to have those bullseye plans. You're going to have those providers that are, hey, here's that low rate. But then in fact, that customer's paying $300 more than what they would have done if they just signed a normal plan. So again, it's just being aware, read the EFL, make sure you know what you're signing up for.
And the other thing that goes out there is remember the time that what I would say is, if you know like a rep directly, you directly a lot of different for so again, that might be an option. But I don't want to and so what we feel will happen after years, the really good thing. And you're going to do that. And, sometimes we get that really blindfold. I'm going to this is what I think we'll talk about in so maybe let's just, I think we're running out of time. Let's do one more drawing. That would be great. Of your time. So last drawing, and then don't forget all the goodies over here for your tables. We've got very strange, microphone, and then we've got another goodies over there. So the last set of tickets and the doorbell, and of course my friend Hugo.
The winner is Ryan. Oh, I love y'all lessons, but this is really hard. Greg Hauser.
Greg Hauser. Woo! There you go. Yeah, I get it. Well, my husband's Italian. All right. So I think we'll wrap it up. We'll hand it over to you all for closing remarks. Thank you all so much. Please reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. All right, my couple of upcoming dates I'll announce real quick, and then we can get out of here. So we have a lunch and learn on the 20th that will cover the lease. So lease 101. If you haven't, go ahead and sign up for that. If you have any newer staff, this is a great session for them to know what's in the lease, how to fill it out, where and why on all of it. Great course. April 27th is our first annual bake-off and business exchange. It's a lot like a chili cook-off, but with desserts. All the proceeds from this event will be donated to the Texas Girls and Boys Ranch. So sign up for that, get out there. This is a good opportunity for our product service people to get in front of our decision makers. So show up. And then there are flyers with more events on your tables, and you can visit LAA.org members.com for more details. Thank you guys for coming, and we're done.